Hi, my name is Jennifer Matos. I'm the Executive Director of the Noah Webster House and West Hartford Historical Society, and I'm bringing you the 19th edition of our Armchair tour of West Hartford history. I'm coming to you from the south end of town on South Main Street. I'm at Rockledge Golf Course, which is a town-owned and operated golf course that is just a lovely view of the mountains behind us. And we're actually a stone's throw from Noah Webster's house, and his land actually at one point went as far as this golf course. And like most of the land in that time, this area started off as a farm. So it was a farm kind of on this ridge on South Main Street. It would have been known as Webster Hill Farm until it came into the hands of a man named W. Mike Sherman in 1913. So Mike Sherman was a student at Yale University when he was reading a newspaper and he saw an advertisement for a gentleman's farm in West Hartford. So he came up to West Hartford and checked it out. It was 120 acres of land. There were 2 farm buildings, several horses, and a herd of pure Guernsey cattle. So W. Mike Sherman purchases the property in 1913. He actually has his house across the street, which is still standing today. It was a farmhouse from the 1840s, and it's this beautiful blue old house that you might notice today on the east side of South Main Street. And Sherman actually names the farm Sherman Acres, and I have a really great image of that I'll post along with this. So he's pretty happy with his gentleman farm here until he's approached around the time of World War I by a group of sportsmen. And the sportsmen are interested in purchasing his farm to create a golf course. And you may remember from several weeks ago, we were talking about Hartford Golf Club and Harry Vardon and how there was this real interest in golf in the early 1900s. And as people were finding more leisure time, they were actually having more time to engage in sports like golf. So the group was very serious about purchasing this property for a golf course, but in the end, their architect advised against it because he believed the contours of this land didn't quite jive with the plan that he had developed. In the end, they ended up buying land on the Bloomfield line that is today Tumblebrook Country Club. But the idea of having a golf course here really resonated with Mike Sherman. And so he took matters into his own hands. So first he approached his neighbors and he tried to get them to commit to the project, both in idea and financially. They were pretty put off by the price tag and they declined. Had they said yes, this might have been known as the Webster Hill Country Club. But instead, Mike Sherman builds the golf course himself. He opens up 14 holes in 1924. And he calls it Rockledge. The clubhouse was actually on the east side of the street, closer to his house, and apparently it was a rocky area, and that's where he got the name Rockledge. So he operates his own little golf course here. He enlarges it in 1927 to 18 holes. And then during the Great Depression, it said that he builds a clubhouse on this side of the street, the south side of the street, and it said that during the Great Depression, that clubhouse actually served as a nightclub for West Hartford, which is kind of shocking to think about here on South Main Street. During this time, Mike Sherman also stages a lot of tournaments. This is a site that would have brought in many famous golfers to West Hartford, as Hartford Golf Club did as well. So in 1932, there is a New England Open that's held here that actually had a record number of people spectating to watch this Open in 1932. He does that in the 1940s and 50s as well. And then Mike Sherman dies in 1959. In 1961, the town of West Hartford purchases the clubhouse and about 100 acres of the land to create the municipal golf course it is today. And of course, now it's been in operation for well over 50 years. They enlarge the clubhouse in, I think it was the 1970s, and then in the 1990s they actually kind of add that beautiful outdoor deck that we would know of today. There was a restaurant here for many years called Angelo's on Main that was a very popular spot. They closed in 2017, and then the owners of Beachland Tavern actually opened up the Rockledge Grill, which is what we have today. And certainly I think that's a restaurant that could boast the best view of West Hartford. I'm sure many of you have golfed at the golf course and at least have driven by. It really does have a spectacular view to the west. And we are so lucky to have this gem right here in West Hartford. Hope you learned something new today, and I'll see you next week.